Welcome to Dr. Kez's Chirolab. I'm Dr. Kez, Doctor of Chiropractic. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing so that you don't miss any of our content. In this video, we're going to discuss the difference between dry needling and traditional Chinese medicine acupuncture. I get asked this question all the time. What's the difference between dry needling and acupuncture? Let's talk about acupuncture for a moment. Acupuncture is about trying to increase the energy flow throughout the body. The body is broken up into meridian lines, and the acupuncturist finds particular areas to place those needles specific to those meridians. Those meridians might relate to your digestive system, for example, or your reproductive system. So even though we use the same needles, the positions that we're placing the needles are very, very different. And the reasons why we are placing the needles is also very different. So when it comes to dry needling is all about trigger points and lactic acid buildup within the muscles. So the needle goes specifically into a muscle and activates the lactic acid to be released. Whereas traditional Chinese medicine doesn't necessarily go into a muscle, it just purely goes into those spots that relate to the meridians. Sometimes it is into a muscle, sometimes the points are exactly the same, but the purpose is extremely different. When we use an acupuncture needle, we go into those trigger points, activate the needle, and stimulate the release of lactic acid. Now, some people say that when the needle goes in, they can't even feel it, and I'm not surprised. These things are tiny. In fact, multiple of these tiny little needles would fit inside the gauge of a regular blood drawing needle, for example. Really tiny, so don't be afraid of this little guy. It does some profound work. One of the things that I find really beneficial when it comes to dry needling is to be able to get deep to muscles that are layered one on top of the other. If I was to try and do that in the buttock, for example, my elbow would be pressing so deep on your backside that it would cause discomfort even before I got to the level of the trigger point of the deeper muscles. The needles can penetrate straight through to that site of the lactic acid area and release really well. So please don't be worried about this thing. It's tiny. The effect is absolutely profound. So consider giving it a go because it is one of the best and quickest ways to release tension in muscles. But don't forget, when you've had a treatment with dry needling, you need to make sure that you consume plenty of water because once we release the lactic acid out into the lymphatic system, we need the bloodstream to flow to that area and be able to wash it out and through your kidneys. So plenty of water really helps that. So if tight muscles or recurrent tight muscles is something that you've had as an ailment, consider coming along and having a treatment with dry needles. They work really, really well. Thanks for having us on your therapeutic journey.